Hi, it's a very great day. Today, I'll be discussing to you the whole child approach in current trends and innovative programs in education. I'm Joseph, and let's try to look back about what is whole child approach. So I have here objectives set for my discussion this morning. So the first one is recognize social emotional learning as ways to create learners' best outcomes. Identify whole child approach in education and its importance to teaching, and understand ways on how schools implement whole child approach and strategies. So before I will be presenting the entire topic for whole child approach, I will be viewing a movie clip provided by ESCD about the overview of whole child approach.
In 2006, ASCD convened a commission comprising leading thinkers, researchers, and practitioners to recast the definition of a successful learner from one whose achievement is measured solely by academic tests to one who is knowledgeable, emotionally and physically healthy, civically inspired, engaged in the arts, prepared for work and economic self-sufficiency, and ready for the world beyond formal schooling. The commission was posed this question and asked if we were to create an education system today from scratch, what would it look like? How would it be different? And what would we do differently within that new model? Their answer was a whole child approach to education. We didn't invent the term whole child, nor did we claim it to be our own. We did, however, systematically develop a framework around it, based on Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When students' basic physiological and psychological needs are satisfied, they are more likely to grow, develop, and succeed. From this hierarchy evolved our tenets of a whole child approach to education, which ensures each child is healthy, safe, engaged, supported, and challenged. The ASCD whole child approach is an effort to transition from a focus on narrowly defined academic achievement to one that promotes the long-term development and success of all children. We believe that each child, in each school, in each community, deserves to be healthy, safe, engaged, supported, and challenged.
So that is the overview of the whole child approach provided by ASCD, promoting and improving students not just to develop academically, but for the whole development. It is also to provide students with assistance and structure for attaining long-term success in all areas of their life, so that by at the end of their schooling, we can prepare them for the world outside school. So the whole child approach is about providing a safe and supportive environment to which students learn. And as teachers, we can help them in providing that, in attaining supportive environment and attaining them to which they learn. And of course, as teachers, we can help them in varied activities, in varied ways, in which we can provide activities in school or activities outside classroom for which we can see that students are participating. And the whole child approach to learning focuses on the bigger picture. For sure, in fact, in the whole child approach is focusing on the entirety or the entire development of the students when it comes to developing their skills, because the whole child approach focuses on the overall development of the child. So when a school takes the whole child approach to learning, they focus on the bigger picture, in which in academic results, it is not really the focus, but instead, it intends to focus on being for having the children to become healthy, and of course, providing them and seeing them that they are happy in their undertaking, in which the students are taking, provided by the teachers. So that is actually the process or the approach of whole child. And these are the five tenets in which the students and the learners are provided in terms to the approach for whole child. So we have here happy, healthy, safe, supported and challenged, and engaged. So let's discuss one by one. So we have here being happy and healthy, or being happy instead. The students must feel comfortable and with ease with each of every time they enter and converse with others. As teachers, we really it's really a satisfaction and determinant for the student who is learning because they are happy, and we must see to it that each activity they dealt in or they are dealing with, may it be in whatever forms of activity, we should see it that they are satisfied and they are happy about it. Each student enters school healthy and learns about practices a healthy lifestyle. Of course, we have always an integration with our subjects to other subjects rather in terms to the practices and in terms to the relationships of this subject to other subject in where we can integrate and somewhat we can instill healthy practices to our students and share it. Each student learns in an environment that is physically and emotionally safe for students and adults. So when students and learners become aware that their environment is safe, then we can actually see that they are satisfied. And in relation to safety, we must provide a safe environment for the learners to become more ready outside world and become responsible and become fully developed in their undertaking. Each student is actively engaged in learning and is connected to the school and broader community. We actually see students with varying skills and needs. So, as a form of engagement, as teachers, as an adult in the community, we need to encourage them to engage in various activities. If not, there are some students may be not focused on that certain activity, but we need, as adult, we need to facilitate them and engage them into the various activities for which ultimately they will be happy at the end. Each student is challenged academically and prepared for success in college or further study and for employment and participation in a global environment. This is the attainment and objective of the whole child approach for which the students we are preparing the students to be ready outside world. Each student has access to personalized learning and is supported by qualified, caring adults. It is not only that teachers are there who will be teaching all day long, but instead we will be facilitating all the learning by provided that the learners themselves are giving the task and then they are having the sense of urgency or responsibility to develop their responsibility towards achieving and towards finishing the task given to the teacher. So as you can see earlier in the provided video clip, it's actually based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, wherein it is not only about copying or imitating, but it's actually developing. The Whole Child Commission used this framework to develop a whole child hierarchy, outlining the key elements or stages needed for successful student growth and development. So if we are going to notice that whole child approach really is not about routine or standardized classroom setting or based learning. It actually empowers learners or children as creative and engaged activities or citizens which can strengthen their well-being as a whole, and it could be helpful to the community. When students' basic physiological and psychological needs are being met or satisfied, they are more likely to become engaged in school, act in accord with school goals and values, develop social skills and understanding, contribute to the school and community, and achieve academically. Further, when schools fail to meet these needs, the students are more likely to become less motivated, more alienated, and poorer academic performers. So we have to see to it that because in reality, there are students who are good in academics and there are students who are not very good in academics. So by that, we can actually provide activities for them to learn and for them to engage because uh, ultimately this is the function or this is the goal and objective of the whole child approach to let the students engage and be challenged in activities, not just purely about academics. It's not actually about academically focused. The whole child approach, again, is not focusing on academics purely, but instead they are looking aside or another side of it, in which provide activities to become healthy, safe, engaged, challenged, and nurtured. So in education, whole child approach is holistic, and it should develop skills. For the holistic, where children looks beyond the classroom to support personal development and is focused on the individual. Yes, because if we are going to focus and to achieve that the child must be holistically good and achievable, and we need to look beyond the classroom, go out from the classroom, in which students may be effective or may be efficient in performing, not just inside the classroom. And of course, it's skills oriented. They need to be armed with skills that enable them to deal with the demands of growing up, entering the workplace, and achieve long term success. This is actually the future goal, or what we are pertaining to in terms to our education now at present, because we don't intend really to just focus on the learning outcomes in which the students will learn just sitting, but of course we wanted to explore them into their skills and what they can do, perhaps, if the activity or what activity is concerned. So this is the whole child approach in education. And actually, whole child approach is not invention. I said in the video presented, video clip, it's just a pattern from Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but it's actually promoting whole child approach into providing the students to become holistic in part of education. So promoting the development of children who are healthy, safe, engaged, supported, and challenged within a sustainable approach to education and community engagement. So it should inspire lifelong learning across different spaces and communities. So we need to deal with it. We need to deal and understand that out in the school, they need to, if they are practicing well, they should carry that when they step out of the school. So it's actually promotion and it's not invention. So because it's promoting, it needs family and community members. So it needs the support of the family and of course the recognition of the community. And since they are in school, so we need the students need the support of the educators and of course the staff and personnel who are included in schools to be able to achieve the sustainable and broad-based action. From this, they commit to understanding, designing learning environments that weave together the threads that connect the not only specific content areas such as maths, science and arts and humanities, but also psychosocial aspects to learning, individual and learning. So this is actually a design pattern or a goal in which it involves and it answers the need for the family to get in and to the educators to step for the development of that child to be able to have a sustainable so that it can sustain the skill of the children of the child being portrayed in school must be sustained even if she or he will step out of the school, and that it does not only focuses about just to study about the major subjects such as math, science, and arts, but also dealing about emotions, dealing about the skill of the individual, in which we can see for sure that individual can be efficient and effective in activity. And how can schools implement the whole child approach? There are 5 ways on how schools can implement. So we have assessment beyond academics, creating a safe and trusting community, well-rounded curriculum, creativity in the classroom, and promote independence and student-led decision making. These are the 5 ways on how the schools can implement. So from assessment to promoting. So let us discuss one by one. Assessment beyond academics. So we have an awareness of pupil progress and achievement should incorporate more than examination grades. So clearly, we don't settle for just examination, paper and pencil tests. Tracking pupil performance in other ways allows teaching staff to gain a wider view of overall pupil development and happiness. So I guess this is very clear for us because we are teachers that in assessment we can give variety or ways of different assessing our students in which it is not actually just about paper and pencil tests, but rather exploring them and engaging them to deal or to discover their skills beyond examination grades. Creating a safe and trusting community. Ensure that pupils understand the boundaries of acceptable behavior and the consequences of conflict. This helps to establish the kinds of moral behavior a school expects from all of its pupils and teach them what is acceptable outside of the school environment and, of course, what they need to act when they are inside the school. Within the school policies should be open communication, where children understand that it is a safe environment in which to discuss their concerns or problems, and that staff know how to be supportive and engage and encourage resolutions and learning. That is why also we have the so-called Supreme Student Government or the SG, wherein student has the voice and can implement programs or activities, and then they are going to propose it to the teacher or the advisor, in which the advisor could feel that the students are having the responsibility and taking actions into account into providing activities to their co-students. And of course, if that will happen, of course, the students will be having the trust and having the safety, and they feel safe rather because the teachers are accepting their, for example, they are suggesting a activity, and it should be a two-way communication wherein the students can get answers, positive answers or feedbacks from the teachers concerned. In which also, if they are because students can feel safe and have the voice if they are part of it, they are being called to that their attention are being called to in terms to the activity that the school is planning and in which the students feel engaged into it. Well-rounded curriculum. For a pupil to develop their interest and challenge their perceptions, their education must provide a safe environment in which to participate in new activities and be exposed in different topics. A well-rounded curriculum provides times for a range of subjects, including arts, sciences, physical education, and languages. So this is very common for the public schools and even in tertiary, in which they are having the so-called for us in public they are spending 8 hours a day focusing their eight subject learning areas in which they need to really be responsible into knowing and dealing and gaining knowledge about these 8 subjects. So this is actually what we call the well-rounded curriculum. Aside from that, it is not just only solely focusing on, I said, in academics, but providing activities which can learners be more engaged to and maybe they can be proud of if ever they have attained such good assessment. Creativity in the classroom. In the classroom, this can include differentiation tactics to ensure pupils can learn at their own pace and access the curriculum in a way that is natural to them. Teachers act as guides, asking questions and encouraging academic excellence through independent learning rather than reciting information that must be learned. So this is somewhat um, very effective. For me, for example, I am always practicing differentiated instruction in which I see that students who can become effective and become efficient if they love to do what they are doing. Uh, it's actually the so-called freedom of the students to do the activity or to participate in the activity in the learning areas or in the manner that they can be effective with because they know for sure themselves that they are doing the activity for them to be assessed. And in accordance to that, as teachers, we need to facilitate and guide them through asking questions and even uh, assisting them or assessing them to their needs in terms of the activity that you are providing. So differentiated instruction actually is a kind of assessment that is effective. I can say so that it's effective because students with it's their likes, it's their desire, it's their line of learning. So we cannot just actually provide them what we want, but it's actually what they want in the classroom or in the learning areas. And the last, promote independence and student-led decision making. Pupils can be given the freedom to make their own decisions and choices. So, like what I said earlier, for the SSG, they have their own groups and they have their own managed organizations. They can meet together with advisors and to implement and to suggest activities in which, uh, for sure, it can be helpful to all and learn effectively from their mistakes. Younger children can be given the opportunity to choose the activities or theme they're learning around topics that really interest them. So this is, in terms to differentiate instruction, if they choose this, they must be responsible out of it. And it's actually about decision making. We can see entirely decision making if it's effective or not if we are going to provide activities which are grouped or by pair because there are consensus between the different members of how to do and what to do with activity. So the whole approach is collaboration between improving students' academic performance and also contributes to the overall development because this is actually the objective of the whole approach, developing the overall holistic skills of the students and also provide students with assistance and structure for attaining long-term success in all of their life. So, in respect with the whole child approach, we have the so-called social emotional learning, in which there is encouragement to students to grow in every area of learning using the whole child approach, and the strategy being implemented is the SEL or the social emotional learning to help students create the best learning outcomes. So, what is social emotional learning? So, aside from the five basic tenets provided to us by the whole child approach, which are healthy, safe, engaged, supported, and challenged, we also have integrated the teaching strategy. We should know as teachers that SEL is existing. So what is SEL? So if there is a social emotional state, for example, as child coming from a divorced parents or a child coming from a problematic family, a child after a breakup, a child after a loss, a child, any problem existing, because we can see this. We can see this in our institution. There are some students who are coming to school without even eating their meal for breakfast, or without even a money in their pocket, or um, starving, shall I say. This comes to the notion that the existence of whole child approach, because if the students are performing poor in class, may it be in academic or in performance, there is a problem. So the whole child approach comes in by understanding their emotional state. So the objective of the whole child approach is not just to improve students' academic performance, but also contribute to their overall development. This approach aims to provide students with assistance and structure for attaining long-term success in all areas of their life. When students are healthy, safe, supported, engaged, and challenged, students are then able to learn the best way, uh, the best way of their ability. So we need to understand really the emotional state of the students to be able to help them, to be able to assist them. Remember, we can help them as teachers. So what is a SEM? So in the social emotional learning, there is self-awareness. Self-awareness for us teachers and self-awareness for students. But I will be focusing here for the social emotional learning for the teachers because we are actually directed for them to help them to answer their emotional needs. So self-awareness is because we can see this in school. We can see this primarily in and outside of the school, even if they are going, even at the time that they get in to our school. And we have the so-called students profile, or shall I say interview, or we can do home visitation, for example. If we can see and notice, and there is a indication that the student is having the emotional need, so that comes in with self-awareness. For self-control, this is by way of administering. How can we manage to help the students? For example, in which we cannot hurt and we cannot intervene with the interaction between parents and students, because that is the most important thing. We cannot just go into directly into answering the needs without even calling the attention of the parents. And of course, the interpersonal skills. People with strong social emotional skills are better able to cope with everyday challenges and benefit academically, professionally, and socially. Yes, because if students are aware that they have this they have problems in their family, for example, they are coming from diverse family, they are, of course they will be aware of that. And if they are good, no, they have strong social emotional learning, they can easily adjust to it. But there are some who cannot. So the intention of social emotional learning is for the teachers and adults to come in and to help the students who are having such deficiency. From effective problem solving, from impulse control to emotional management and more, SEL provides a foundation for positive, long-term effects of kids, adults, and communities. That is why we don't just have to reprimand students if they are poor in academics, but somewhat look in other ways and in the other side, for which we can actually engage students into very activities in which they can somewhat forget their problems at home and become very focused in school. And when that happens, when we can actually successfully conquer the social emotional state of the learners, it will thrive. The children thrives. And of course, if that will happen, the school wins. Because if you can imagine the scenario, if students are likely to become very problematic at home and become very responsible and very productive in school, that is somewhat like an encouragement for all the learners, setting an example that amidst the problem of the student, because for sure we cannot actually say that all of them are having that strong social emotional learning, but some maybe and some may not, and the teacher can come in to be able to help them, so that the practices and the responsibility for both student and learners could be in a way of communication. And by that, school wins. For example, because there are a lot of I can say that students come from different family backgrounds. They go to school having problems. They go out of school with another set of problems. For to be able to help them, we need to address these issues. We need to provide them activities. We need to encourage them. We need to challenge them. So to be able for that, if that will happen, if children are thriving from that, of course the school wins. And after school, after such recognitions, it's the benefit of the school. It's the benefit. It's the benefit from the workplaces, from the workforce, and for the teaching adults. And of course, seeing that, it strengthens the society they're living in, they're situated in. So SEL for students and schools for the benefits and workforce and workplaces. SEL helps build a foundation that supports student success both personally and academically. When kids are able to express themselves right and they are effective on the things they're doing, then it marks the development of the child. So we don't have to reprimand students all every time and every now and then, but also encouraging them and recognizing their efforts. By that, uh, it can boost their emotional skills and social skills. Workers and workplaces, communication, getting along with others, assertiveness, and problem solving are all skills taught in SEL program. Skills like these can make all in the organization run efficiently and might result in a good environment. Yes, it's very good to have a good communication within workers and students and work to their school, and we should encourage activities that can get along with others, because some students are just satisfied being alone, and we should have to develop them by providing them activities which are engaging as the tenants is concerned. So my reflection for the discussion and for the topic about whole child approach, as teachers, we and especially our youth live in an increasingly connected world where information is transmitted and shared constantly. As educators, we are challenged to influence and inspire students to be effective and efficient in all aspects while they are in our care, ensuring that all children become college, career, and citizenship ready for the time they graduate from high school so that they can lead productive, engaged, and fulfilling lives is an ambitious goal, but one that is both worthy of great nations and necessary for those nations to remain great. Such a goal will require real leadership, national support, new resources, and a renewed commitment to the needs of the whole child. So, to make an end of my discussion today, whole child approach is again does not solely focus on academic, but on the five tenets. Again, it is not invention, but it is actually promoting the so-called healthy, safe, secured, engaged, supported, and challenged individual. Thank you so much for listening and hope that you are having a great day today. Thank you.